Hello everybody. This is my first update, I guess, for 2020. I've got some stuff that's been growing for several months in here. I started some stuff in March and had to cover it up with plastic several times to keep it from freezing, but it's all been worth it. I planted, this is my asparagus bed, and I planted 10 new asparagus roots today because some of them I planted the last couple years and never came up. This year has been a really terrible year for my asparagus. It's supposed to be planted in a sandy loam, and it's planted in Kansas native clay, so that's probably why it's not doing any good. I might yank all of them this fall and add some sandy loam to it and replant them and see if I can't get my asparagus growing better. But I thought I'd show you what I got going on in my garden. It's pretty full right now. In fact, I've only got one bed left that's open, and I have cucumbers inside. I just planted those under lights 2 days ago, so it's gonna be a while. I think I said it's Saturday, May 2nd. If not, I'm repeating myself. Anyway, here's what I had covered up. Broccoli and cabbage. You can see the broccoli plants are huge, and they're starting to put off broccoli. The temperature's actually got to 80 degrees twice. It's gonna get 80 again today. When it gets that warm, well, I guess I should mention that I keep this row cover over my beds to keep the cabbage looper moth off my plants, so I don't have a single bit of leaf damage. None. Zero. Zilch. I don't have a single cabbage looper on any of these plants, and it's all because of this real thin row cover. And I just put it down, and I just weight it down with a brick like that about every 3 feet. And when it gets warm, I purchased this some 4 years ago. It's a 40% shade cloth that I put over my beds to try to keep everything from getting too hot and bolting. I have onions planted. These are my onions. I didn't plant that many to have big onions because I grew them 2 years ago, and I got a ton of onions, but they weren't very big, and we didn't really use them. So this year, these here's, you can see, we're gonna use these, the ones that are planted really close together. We're gonna use those for green onions. This bed here has my garlic in it. As you can tell, I've got a lot of garlic planted. I tend to go overboard with my plantings. I mean, they're spaced the way they're supposed to be. Just, I plant too many of everything probably. But what I don't use, I'll give away to my neighbors. Oh, let's see, what else do we have here? I'm trying peas this year. I usually grow green beans. I'm trying something new, and they're looking pretty good. In between those, I've got lettuce. Over in this bed, I have Brussels sprouts growing along. Well, that's my spinach. It's bolting as you can see, because it's been getting warm. There's a Brussels sprout plants, and they're starting to put off little nodes, and they're calling for 70s, 60s for the next 2 weeks. So hopefully I'll get some Brussels sprouts. It'd be a first time. I've never grown them before. Also heads of lettuce. I planted these earlier than the other ones, so they're bigger and starting to make heads now. Oh, let's see, what else? Tomatoes. Planted 12 tomato plants. I moved these beds. They were in the north end of the garden, which is over there. But they weren't doing very well because of all my trees that are getting ready to get cut down. We're having 10 trees cut probably this year to try to alleviate some of the shade that my garden has. Anyway, there's 10 tomato plants, and I guess that's about it. This bed's empty. I usually use it for carrots, and I will, again, I'll grow a full bed of carrots this fall, and the rest of these beds, as they get used up, I'll be growing fall crops in them. Probably beans, carrots. I might even start some okra this summer once I harvest all the broccoli and cabbage and such. So anyway, it keeps me busy, keeps me out of trouble, keeps me from drinking. I quit drinking alcohol almost 2 years ago now, and I was quite the drinker. So I'm pretty proud of that, and I think this garden's got a lot to do with that. I no longer drink, and I spend a lot of time in my garden working on my plants and my beds, and I really enjoy it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the little garden tour, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, bye-bye.